Still a flexible option for them. They want to go and level the playing field because Julian's a very fast, aggressive type of jungler, and Karina's going to be a good choice just to be able to dish out the magic damage in the same way. So when you take a look, Paquito does make a lot of sense moving forward into the XP lane because he gets to access the Blazing Duet before it actually happens, but instead, there goes the Eve, right? Eve, instead of BREN Esports picking it up, it was denied by TNC given that there is a way for them to be able to control the game. But KalTZ, man, rank first, unique heroes used with 12. There's a lot of options.
That's a hero pool and a half right there. 12.
For most players.
Yeah, for 12 unique heroes. Again, I think that's what makes a lot of these newer faces into the league very strong. In the terms of, first, you've only seen maybe what they do in the amateur scene, but if you haven't, then all this stuff they're pulling here in Season 10 so far, you see how well they play on all these different heroes. It does surprise a lot of people. So these last picks now for BREN, going to be the Ruby, and also a 100% win rate. They take the Lancelot going in the hands of KalTZ.
That was a brave pick, if I should say, because there's a Cho on the other side. But now, Cho gets to be in a certain type of dilemma wherein who would you actually flat the way of the dragon to? Is it going to be the Claude or is it going to be the Lancelot? Because either way, if Claude manages to get the itemizations done, gather the Demon Hunter Sword, gather the Golden Staff, 2 items is what Claude usually needs to be able to stack up and get the damage done for BREN Esports. So now, they just need a good hold. And you've mentioned a while ago, I think Franco, but no, Cho's already there. So this time around, they're going to go for the Thamos. They're going to go for this SD hero, the all-reliable, sustain frontline Cho and the Thamos for TNC to hold the line.
As odd as the Lancelot is, again, in this current metagame, that's what the Franco could be here. That's what that could have been. And instead, it's the Cho, which again, I think is a preference now for Ben Things. His Franco gets so banned. I think he's just conditioned to like, you know what? I'm just better on the Cho right now. And if we want to win, we want to get our team back in the run-in for the playoffs, we have to do this hard decision-making done here by TNC. But all in all, their damage and their CC, their team fighting capabilities are looking good. One more look at the lineup before we get into game number 1. So far, I'm liking BREN Esports' team fight. It's so good.
I mean, there's just so much damage on BREN Esports in multiple ways, too. There's also a good amount of CC just having a Julian there, along with a Ruby, right? That's CC for days in any way you want to use it. So BREN definitely looking very strong here in their draft.
They also got a good amount of catch and chase. Catch and chase. Those are 2 keywords that you want when you're facing off against a line with as a Paquito and a Cho. Because things that are like the Tams and the Beatrix relatively stationary, so you have to make the most of the early to mid. That means it's going to be a good go for Super Marco, wherein they start with a leash.
Yeah, and again, you know, this is what you can expect from Ben Things here. He's going to poke KalTZ a little bit, force that retribution out, possibly. If he can get it out as he does, there you go. So, again, we're going to see Ben Things being a little bit of a nuisance to KalTZ. This is exactly what they had to do. One of their keys to victory was kind of disrupt that jungle as well. The method, the mythology behind KalTZ's decisions, especially on the Lancelot.
In addition to what you've mentioned, this is also going to be 3 flickers versus 3 sprints. 3 flickers just to be able to get rid of the I Am Offended combo that either Pandora or, of course, Ogwen would be able to pull off. Meanwhile, there's also going to be the sprint to take control of the real-world manipulation situation. So lack the time to take revenge in this match is going to be a problem for TNC.
Yeah, they do have the Void Crystal. They can check with that. Or, again, just good old face bush check-in with SD. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Oh, down bot.
Yeah. So they, again, they're just kind of getting in position here of BREN's jungle as much as possible. And again, this is something we can expect with SDZYZ being on a hero like Thamus. Now, Thamus actually performs very well in the jungle, especially with that jungle emblem. We just haven't seen him picked up as much as other picks, but in the hands of someone like SDZYZ, this is exactly where he wants to be. And here we go, Cram going to be the focus on the bottom side, but still surviving, right? And this is, again, Cram himself on this Paquito could possibly be another win condition in itself.
While we're waiting for the turtle here as SD and KalTZ walk up to it, again, priority for BREN Esports. the story of Tams is in the first 4 weeks, his win rate was way up there. And now that we're in the twilight of Season 10, it's slowly become more of an acquired taste.
Yeah, it really comes down to individual preference here. Kyle TZ working on less than half health. It's going to be secured, though, by Ben Things. Securing the turtle for TNC here 2 minutes into the game.
That was actually pretty good zoning from Ben Things that actually led to his turtle take. And one thing to take note of is the level gap between the junglers. It was actually pretty difficult for Kyle TZ to actually commit to that turtle take, given that he already utilized his Phantom Execution. And aside from that, it was also a 1 level gap to SDZYZ, who was already level 5 during that skirmish. With that, there is also going to be Cram from the bottom side of the turtle pit trying to zone out or trying to give an immense amount of damage to Pandora, which led to them not being able to pull off the I am offended combo and leading to the turtle take.
SDZYZ's retribution is just so much more powerful. Kyle TZ has killing spree. Yes, he's good at man fighting. Again, he has some level of sustain, but in these early stages, it's TNC. When it comes to objectives, mind you, when it comes to objectives, and so far, it's nice to see them back on this train, back in this groove. They found their mojo.
I think, again, this is their textbook, right? This is TNC's play, if you will. And they want to continue with that. And, I mean, if you can control the early game here, get yourself in a comfortable position for mid-game to late game, especially for someone like Yasuo playing this Beatrix, you are going to set yourself up for success. Now, the thing is, does BREN Esports stop that? How do they stop that here?
One thing for them to actually be able to stop that is to just get more objectives. Try to check as soon as possible, because Ben Things and SDZYZ will always be raining on their parade. Now take a look at SDZYZ so far. It's already level 7. Meanwhile, for the side of BREN Esports, it's still going to be Kyle TZ, a level gap once again because of the sustain that they want.
Bottom side, SD going to be focused on fighting for the purple buff, but Okwin really can't commit to anything here. So also, Kyle TZ's retribution is down. This is just going to go in the hands of TNC. Another objective for them as SD and King Salomon and the rest go ahead and secure the second turtle of the game.
That felt miserable for BREN Esports. Kyle TZ, I saw how he struggled, and you saw how he committed the retribution there. And with the help of Captain Few, yes, there was a threat for a kill, but TNC, they were a step ahead, maybe 2, because they said, you know what, it's okay. I saw him get the retribution. Let's just take the turtle for free.
I'm glad you've met. It hasn't really worked for him right now. We're taking a look at Kyle TZ now, 0-0, securing that war app, so it is going to help him sustain a little bit more in terms of team fights because he's facing things off. But now TNC is forcing their way to yet another objective. Take a look, 5 minutes in, no kills just yet.
Oh, they're going to actually try to find a setup here as they get the huge knock up. There's Super Marco coming in, guns blazing. They grab 2 kills, but it's a trade across the board. 2 for 2 so far. So who came out on top of that one?
There you go. That's your answer. BREN Esports with an immediate knock-up skill courtesy of Captain Few, and in return they were able to take down 2 kills. But TNC, on the other hand, not only got 2 kills of their own, but also managed to take a top turret or a top outer turret. So TNC now has somewhat of a control in terms of the territory, but BREN Esports, this is the trajectory that they were willing to go for. Let's see if they will be able to keep it up.
So the answer is TNC.
The answer is TNC.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you.
Top.
I love the explanation. There's the answer. TNC came out on top of that. Also, you have to take note as well, right? At this point, I mean, before everything just happened, we were 5 minutes in the game. No one had died yet. So now, again, snowball effect for TNC specifically. They've got the 2 turtles. The next one's going to be up here shortly. They're in a good position to actually just take the 3rd one for the game. But I think we're going to see BREN actually fight this one because Few, especially after that, the Few Super Marco combo, it's there. They just need to be able to pull it off a little bit better. So now a turtle about half health here. TNC looking in position to be able to just take this one as they do. Clean on the turtles for the game 1.
One thing I'd like to say, I love how TNC's spreading the love. First turtle went to Ben, second went to SD, third went to Yasuo.
They're putting the stats. They're putting his stats in play.
Oh, there's going to be the knockup. Ben Things still going to be alive for now, not for long, as Kyle TZ punishes him, grabbing a kill for himself here, first one of the game. That's going to help that Lancelot we were talking about. How does this scale into now? At 7 minutes in, And that kill, that's going to help him out big
Right?
time.
You've talked to us a while ago about the Void Crystal, in which, in that case, it wasn't really utilized up until Ben Things was out of the equation. So this is one thing that BREN Esports would be able to capitalize, the mobility that they have. Ogwen, yes, he doesn't have that crowd control. Yes, he doesn't have that skill, but he has that chase, and he knows how to be able to move from one lane to another in a sense that the rest of the members of TNC will be able to feel it, now leading in terms of kills.
A little lane swap here, too. I mean, you can already see the damage coming in for Krem. He's got nothing so far, but he's got the items now. SD going to be the focus. The knockup comes out on top once again. Going to the hands of Few here. King Solomon a little bit too late. Few should be able to get out just fine. Krem was looking to back him up, but nothing there for him.
That was a pincer maneuver. Hold on, we'll talk about it later. Pandora.
Oh, get the way of the dragon off, but unfortunately to the wrong side. Now Ben Things has to flicker out. King Solomon coming in once again. Kyle Teasy can't get the kill there. But these are the moments that they need. If you're Bren, Krem could be in trouble. Punishes him, has the shield. There's the Blazing Duet to clean up the kill. It's a 1-for-1.
Scrappy for both sides. A pincer maneuver, a minute too soon and too late at the same time for TNC. The damage is not there yet. And the punish happens off lane. It happens all the way on the top.
Yeah.
Super Marco got to see Kram. Yeah, sure, a few dies. But again, you're looking at a Claw that's deathless at 9 minutes.
Lots of trades happening here for both of the teams. They're making mirror plays, trying to figure out where to actually gank and where to actually position themselves. But this is TNC now somewhat in control of what they want to do, because they always know the timers in terms of these objectives. They are always in position to be able to take this one first, or if not, know how to find a way to maneuver in the positioning that BREN Esports is showing them. So now Super Marco with the Avarice, he hasn't really fought a while ago, but TNC was forced to give him 2 kills, 2 assists in the same way, and let's see how the Blazing Duet and that kind of sprint is going to come into play.
Okay, well, that was the I'm offended committed, not going to happen. They're going to juggle this first Lord of the Game around here just a little bit while they're trying to push the lanes and handle those minions as well. SD might go ahead and start this one. They know that he's in good position for this to actually contest it as well.
All the important pieces are here for TNC. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for somebody to commit and make the mistake of pulling the trigger, which I have noticed Pandora is trigger happy with that I'm offended.
Yeah.
All ults are up though, so it's looking pretty good, 50-50. Down the wire, down the middle here, and that's why TNC cancels it, full reset.
Clutch Wind of Nature coming in from Super Marco. He knows that the Blazing Duet is going to be crucial moving forward. So with that sprint Blazing Duet, there's going to be a lot or a ton of damage moving forward, especially from Yasuo. You need to take note of where that Beatrix is going to come from, whether he is going to be using that sniper or the shotgun. It is going to be absolutely fatal, but Ben Things
is going to get knocked up again. The flicker committed, plus the conceal. Few taking a shot here. Going to have to back off. We're going to take a little breather here for a second again. And I mean, you can see that I would say at this point, we're 10 minutes in the game.
Bren was due jump back in here. There it is, right? So 11 minutes in, like we talked about before the break, I mean, Bren is slowly getting back into this game, especially Kyle Teasy himself, right? There was a lot of focus on him, delaying his jungle, but now he's kind of pulling it together here.
And BREN is actually doing a pretty good job trying to figure out where King Salman is coming from. You're seeing Pandora dishing out the information. Clutch Wind of Nature build up here for Yasuo with the Weapon Master as your emblem. He's going to dish out ton damage though.
Ben Things does get caught with the I'm offended. He can't escape this one. Ogwen taking quite a bit of damage, but so far, TNC only loses Ben Things. That is the numbers advantage, though, for BREN.
That was a close call. I was going to say, Bren, don't force it. You need Captain Few. And they pick off Ben Things right at the nick of time. And right now, this is much better than just having Few there for the 5v5. Having Ben Things be missing is a huge thing.
Okay, they're going to push him back here. A kill, though. Few does fall. Super Marco in the backside, forcing Yasuo back. SD on the retreat now. Lord's still going to be taken here by a Bren as it's worked on, but Cram trying to do something about it as he can't. So now he's caught in a bad position, has to be careful, trying to bob, trying to weave out of here in between two turrets. You can't run forever, Cram. He's going to go down here, has the shield.
He's running.
Oh, he's still running and still surviving, but Owen looking for a cutoff. There you go, Kyle Teasy grabbing the kill.
Made him work for it.
That was great. Initiation coming in from BREN Esports. TNC Pro Team, they had somewhat of a better position in terms of trying to figure out how they would be able to take the Lord, but BREN insisted that, okay, we should go for the heroes instead. Dish out or put them at least half of health. Super Marco giving out that blazing duet, and it was the rest of the members of BREN Esports that separated STCYZ from that fight, which is why now BREN Esports are absolutely in the lead. 3.25k to be specific, and few the clutch knockups, always ready and always prepared to take action.
I'm loving it, and the reason why the map is blue so far is the stubbornness of BREN Esports to bend TNC's will. If this was TNC's game and if this was their pace, we would have just been seeing objectives after objectives. But right now, BREN Esports, they're putting damage on the board, and TNC is forced to respond.
Yeah, again, you know, this is something that Ben Things has to be careful of, because just like we saw kind of unfold there, he went down, he got caught out. Yes, they got few, but look at the chase potential coming out from Bren. Now it's going to be the focus once again. Ben Things could be in trouble, should be fine, gets some ultimates out at least. So right now, but all of that converts into a turret for Bren.
This is slightly becoming a problem. Actually, it already is, because Few is starting to show some signs of aggressiveness, given that they know that there's not a lot of builds, there's not a lot of magic defense builds coming from the side of TNC. Not a lot of Radiant Armor, not a lot of Athena's Shield. It was only built up here by Ben Things, who is now 0-3-1. So with that, depending on the pickoffs coming from the side of TNC, they need to be able to at least close up to one. But there you go. It's Pandora and Ogwen answering or heeding to that call, giving out the information necessary. And then right after that, BREN Esports securing one of their owns, with Few actually securing that Feather of Heaven, giving down that cooldown, giving down that damage reduction, and in the same way, another attack or another option for BREN Esports.
And that's the thing, the Athena shield is only going to last you so long. Once that shield has popped and it's on cooldown, Few can still just weave in the basic attacks, again with the Feather of Heaven, and those cooldowns on the Julian go off much faster than the Athena shield.
All right, now they're going to be focusing on Cramel once again. Luckily, he's got the sprint, right? But yeah, as you guys were making points here, you have to be careful, right? Your TNC, because itemization is going to be a big thing at this point. 15 minutes in the game, next Lord is now up.
Oh,
they
Gwen?
should look for a kill if they can find one.
This is the problem though, right? Because this TNC lineup is technically more on the sustain. And with the itemizations that BREN is slowly ramping up, not to mention Kyle TZ locking in that endless battle a while ago. So he will go for those types of pickoffs, access the back lines, you know, not actually force or focus on the Lord fight, just eliminate the threat, eliminate the other possible opponents of contention. And this time around, BREN Esports, with that killing spree, what will they be able to do?
Ben Things finding the way. The Dragon Pandora is going to be in trouble here. Flicker's out, still alive though for now, but he finally falls. Few also gets 1 versus 1 up top. So they're huge advantage here for TNC now. Super Marco making his way. He knows he's got to be here with the blazing duet.
Grom's here.
Can he turn this one around here for BREN? Look at Yasuo, Kyle TZ trying to buy some time, but not enough time as SD still working on the Lord.
Marco.
Super Marco trying to get the stacks. There's the blazing duet, popping the Wind of Nature too, but he doesn't get a kill.
The dodge.
Lord's still gonna be working on Kyle TZ getting kicked here into the Lord, and he grabs it, and he survives. What a clean take, a play from Kyle TZ.
He could have died, but he didn't, and he stole the Lord on the way out. Heartbreak for TNC.
I feel like he just...
It was the Way of Dragon placed him a little closer to the Lord take, and he was like, okay,
Thank you. Things. Thank you.
What just happened right over there? It was the mechanic placing the retribution at the perfect time, and it was the Phantom Execution escape and the puncture to get out.
You're talking about the retribution mechanic, the passive ticks.
Yep.
It's possibly the passive ticks could have been the Thorn Rose somewhere down the line.
Oh
it's one
my.
of those that caused the last bit of damage to the Lord that earned it. Gave it over to BREN ESPORTS, denying TNC any of this benefits.
I mean, that's the stuff you've got to expect.
It's the good stuff.
From someone like Kyle Teasy again on this landslide. He had a heck of a time early game. So this is what I was saying too. BeNthings has to be careful with where he kicks, and now he's gonna get knocked up. Immortality gonna be popped, looking to get a kill here, but nice real world manipulation to help BeNthings stay alive. Graham gonna be making his way from the backside. Spots out Super Marco, pop the witch hand. They get a huge resource out here. They handle the Lord. TNC gonna be okay for now.
Now they're going to be building up to those kinds of defensive items, although Ogwen a little bit stuck here, but that is going to be okay given that Masha is just too tanky and too sustainable for BREN ESPORTS. Now they want to go for this time around.
All right, so let's see. Can Kyle Teasy steal away the purple? Answer's no. SD does force away the retribution from him, so that's a good sign. TNC still on point. Due diligence. Every single time you can win, despite the 5K gold lead, you try to win. Now, something I noticed, it now makes sense to me. Again, takes a while, but the teams, they're geniuses this way. BREN ESPORTS, the reason why they put Ogwen on the Masha and the Ruby on Pandora is because the roaming Masha, the uptime, you're not looking at how it's offensive, how it's defensive. It can peel forever. But if it was the Ruby there, Hole, again, this is why it's so good. Look at him.
Yeah, he just plants himself here at the same time.
He don't care. He don't care.
He's got multiple health bars. You don't have to care so much just yet, right? So they're putting them in good position so that you can make the follow-up just like this. BeNthings gonna be the focus once again, forcing the flicker out here. And all of this before the next Lord comes up in about 19 seconds.
They're not about the team fight. They're just about the information. Once you get those kinds of vision, once you get those kinds of Masha face checks, that's gonna be okay for you to use the I am offended combo coming in from Ruby, which is why Pandora now slowly transitioning from the XP lane, moving forward, and actually fixing the lane equilibrium at the same way. But TNC now focused on the bot side, and BREN ESPORTS, a 4-hero strong Ogwen, nowhere to be found.
Look at the bottom side too. They're gonna be pushing that one in. They might just give up the Lord here. They're gonna force a BREN to go back to base because this is what TNC wants to do. Now Lord still going to be worked on, juggled around. SD planning himself there. Real world manipulation comes down from King Salomon. Super Marco grabbing the kill though. BeNthings trying to buy some more time. Kicking Kyle Teasy towards that way. SD doesn't commit to the Lord just yet. And can TNC grab this one? But look at the damage coming out. It is secured by SD, but at what cost? Pandora falls. 3 members of TNC are down.
The king of objectives. Wise like gameplay from SD there. Just staying the course. They wanted the Lord, they wanted the inhibitor, they got away with both. But now the question is, were 3 deaths worth it?
Clutch Yasuo shotgun. That is what I'm about to say right over there. Because it started with a BeNthings separating Way of the Dragon from the top side so that Kyle Teasy will have not a lot of time to move forward with those kinds of retribution takes that he is usually taking here. And unfortunately for them, because of the pickoffs that Yasuo managed to pull 2 1-in-1 as of the moment, locking in that Has Claws and Wind of Nature, most especially that Blade of Despair. He's gonna dish out a lot of damage, especially in close range. Great positioning coming in from the gold laner. Meanwhile, BREN ESPORTS, they know where to punish. Not so that TNC won't be able to finish the fight. They eliminated 3 heroes, and King Salman, one of the possible scenarios or one of the possible optics here for the side of TNC, was eliminated right at that.
This is a good thing though. You want to go back to that whole fight. At least they got the turret in the bottom side. They at least exposed that portion of the base for TNC. Other than that, they put themselves in a position again where they lowered that gold lead, that disparity. They've got a couple big items now on multiple of their players, of their heroes. So that could set themselves up for a better chance here as they want to go and focus on either finding a pickoff or another Lord in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, short to say, again, TNC won. Despite it being a asterisk win, yeah, we did concede 3 deaths. They won very clearly. They got a scaled up Lord. They took down a permanent objective down there in the inhibitor, bot lane, and again, they shrank that 4K, 5K gold lead. So what that means is there's still some fight left in TNC, and they should be a legit threat. I don't blame them if they try to go for a split win, much like they did against Echo.
They were actually building towards the defensive items before that Lord fight. They were aware of the situation, and they know Bren had more damage before the Lord skirmish. But because of this major Lord win for the side of TNC, courtesy of SD, it was now brought down to almost 2K. Something that they could handle, given that we are already 22 minutes into this fight, and at least a 60,000 for both in terms of economy is something that they need to worry about.
Look, Cram. How he's positioning himself there. I can sense maybe a fight closer to the lower quarter, closer to the Lord, and then Cram's gonna do the dirty again. He's gonna do the dirty again.
Yeah, did I not say in the beginning of the game, I know it felt like a while ago, but I said this is Cram on the Paquito.
You did.
He won a game single-handedly, literally, right? Just punching the crystal. So he could possibly end up doing the same thing. He already started it on the bottom. So that pressure alone will cause Bren to be a lot more cautious, especially now this next Lord is up here, how they approach this fight.
That's the advantage of taking care of the bottom inhibitor turret, right? It's nothing that you need to worry about anymore. So now Cram is going to be focused on that. Ogwen is also forced to go there. Therefore, no information for BREN Esports to actually engage in the fight, but I'm offended.
Yeah, it's all up to Pandora pretty much, right? Because you have Ogwen babysitting up on the top side. Now Ben Thing's going to push them back here. I don't think they want to commit, though, to the Lord just yet. They know that they've got to be careful still. TNC has to respect Bren on top of it.
Although the flicker is already committed by Ben Thing, so it was a failed Jeet Kune Do Wave Dragon that was eliminated for the side of TNC. So now BREN Esports has that opportunity to actually go ahead and handle, given that Ben Things won't have, you know, a little bit more reach to what he wants in terms of pickoffs. It's SD and TNC and now at the helm, and Pandora actually using Flicker in the same way.
Oh, Ogwen finding Yasuo, forcing the Flicker out, gonna push him back here. Lord's still gonna be worked on, juggled around. Ben Things now could be in trouble. They gotta watch an eye, they gotta keep an eye on Kyle TZ. Lord goes ahead and resets. That was Ogwen making a big play, already forcing them back here. So there is gonna be a reset. Look at Cram though, still doing work in the lanes, gets the tier 2 turret in the mid lane. Cram will turn a bad situation into something for TNC. That's, again, something that Bren has to constantly look for.
You are looking at bad to okay to good. I'd say this is closer to the scale of good.
Yeah.
No one died. There's still a solid wave up top, and you took tier 2, and the Lord hasn't been taken away by BREN Esports. So TNC, very much still on schedule.
Yeah, man, Cram is... If this is Cram time, this is it, right? Especially on Paquito already.
Right now.
Forcing Pandora to handle him. Few also doesn't want to commit too far in because he might have to go help out here.
Ogwen!
Lord's still going to be worked on. Yasuo going to be the focus now. Wind of Nature going to be popped here. Still alive, though. Owen paying dividends on this Masha pick. Few with the knock-up here. So now, is this a position that Bren needed? Cram now joining the fight. Looking to focus on Ogwen, only down to 1 health bar. Lord resets once again. The dance between both teams. As they poke each other, they reset for now.
That was so unfortunate coming in from BREN Esports because it was a good initiation from Ogwen rather, that led to 3 ultimates being racked up here by TNC. And then in return, just to be able to save Ogwen, they also committed 3 ultimates of their own.
And they're still going. Cram was actually looking for a kill on Few here. Lord at 1/4 health. Who's going to be able to grab this one? Kyle TZ, Phantom Execution.
Pandora's out.
Pandora's immortality going to be popped and is secured by the objective king himself,
Marco's
SDZYZ. And it's a killing spree for Yasuo as Super Marco falls. TNC on top again.
26 minutes in, and they are more than just okay. The objective king takes the second Lord for TNC, and by God, it's scaled up. This Lord is a thing of beauty. It's going to go ahead and buy time for Cram to get into Cram time once more. He's going to start stealing objectives. He's going to start stealing inhibitor, top, maybe mid, and so far, look, it's swung over to TNC now, almost 1,000 gold ahead.
they're placing TNC into a situation because they just divided the type of team fight where Super Marco is in the back lines, and then there were other members. You have to give it to Ben Things surviving until the end of time. Will they be able to finish this one off?
I think they're just going to punch it in here. Lord's still going to be working. Cram just punching away
Cram is
at the
punching
crystal.
again.
They can't do anything about it. And in fashion, Cram time it is. They take game number 1.
Took him a while, but the fire still burns. TNC takes game 1.